Hello, welcome to day 100 of A Course in Miracles. We continue chapter 12, the Holy Spirit's Curriculum, part 8, the attraction of love for love. Do you really believe that you can kill the Son of God? The Father has hidden his Son safely within himself and kept him far away from your destructive thoughts, but you know neither the Father nor the Son because of them. You attack the real world every day and every hour and every minute, and yet you are surprised that you cannot see it. If you seek love in order to attack it, you will never find it. For if love is sharing, how can you find it except through itself? Offer it and it will come to you, because it is drawn to itself. But offer attack and love will remain hidden, for it can live only in peace. This is a really good reminder for me, because I'm still finding myself thinking quite judgmental thoughts towards other people, and also feeling guilty within myself and forgetting that I and everybody else is innocent and in truth we are love. So this is really speaking to me, because I'm not able to see the real world and to see the love that is all around me when I am projecting guilt or fear or judgment onto others. Because just as it says here, offer attack and love will remain hidden, for it can live only in peace. A lesson that I'm obviously going to learn soon, hopefully very soon. God's Son is as safe as his Father, for the Son knows his Father's protection and cannot fear. His Father's love holds him in perfect peace, and needing nothing, he asks for nothing. Yet he is far from you whose self he is, for you chose to attack him, and he disappeared from your sight into his Father. He did not change, but you did. For a split mind and all its works were not created by the Father, and could not live in the knowledge of him. When you made visible what is not true, what is true became invisible to you. Yet it cannot be invisible in itself, for the Holy Spirit sees it with perfect clarity. It is invisible to you because you are looking at something else. So it's a matter of changing our focus, choosing to see things differently, which is one of the early workbook lessons. What is it? I choose to see things differently. I'm determined to see things differently. Yet it is no more up to you to decide what is visible and what is invisible than it is up to you to decide what reality is. What can be seen is what the Holy Spirit sees. The definition of reality is God's, not yours. He created it, and he knows what it is. You who knew have forgotten, and unless he had given you a way to remember, you would have condemned yourself to oblivion. Okay, so thank God there's a way out, and we're not going to condemn ourselves to oblivion. No, God will save us from that. He's going to help us remember the definition of God's reality. Because of your Father's love, you can never forget him, for no one can forget what God himself placed in his memory. You can deny it, but you cannot lose it. A voice will answer every question you ask, a voice capital V. and a vision will correct the perception of everything you see. For what you have made invisible is the only truth, and what you have not heard is the only answer. What you have made invisible is the only truth. So beyond what our physical eyes can see is the only truth. And what you have not heard is the only answer. So if we're not hearing the Holy Spirit's voice, we haven't heard the answer. Therefore, the answer is waiting for us to hear it, to listen. God would reunite you with yourself and did not abandon you in your distress. You are waiting only for him and do not know it, yet his memory shines in your mind and cannot be obliterated. It is no more past than future, being forever, always. You have but to ask for this memory and you will remember. That's a point to highlight. All we have to do is ask for the memory of God to be given to us that we may remember, and we will. Yet the memory of God cannot shine in a mind that has obliterated it and wants to keep it so. For the memory of God can dawn only in a mind that chooses to remember. You who cannot even control yourself should hardly aspire to control the universe. Oh, hang on, did I miss something? I completely missed something there, didn't I? Sorry. Okay. For the memory of God can dawn only in a mind that chooses to remember and that has relinquished the insane desire to control reality. We've got to let go of this desire to control our world, our life, everything, everyone, reality. That's an insane desire. We have to relinquish this insane desire to control reality. You who cannot even control yourself should hardly aspire to control the universe. But look upon what you have made of it and rejoice that it is not so. Son of God, be not content with nothing. What is not real cannot be seen and has no value. God could not offer his Son what has no value, nor could his Son receive it. You were redeemed the instant you thought you had deserted him. Everything you made has never been, and is invisible because the Holy Spirit does not see it. Yet what he does see is yours to behold, and through his vision your perception is healed. You have made invisible the only truth that this world holds. Valuing nothing, ye have sought nothing. Hang on a minute. You have made invisible the only truth that this world holds. What is it? What is this truth that the world holds? We've been told before in this course that there is light behind everything that we look upon. There is a deeper light. Holiness and love. That is the real world. Light and holiness and love. Yet we've made that invisible. So therefore, what are we valuing if it's none of those things? If it's nothing of God, we're valuing nothing. We have sought nothing. We haven't been seeking the truth. So by making nothing real to you, you have seen it. By making nothing real to you, you have seen it. But it is not there, and Christ is invisible to you because of what you have made visible to yourself. So what we are seeing are our blocks to love. And when we have blocks to love, we're not able to see with Christ's vision. We're not able to see the light that is beyond the body, that is beyond everything, that is made in love, that God is in everything we see, which is another earlier workbook lesson. God is in everything I see. Yet we have not perceived God in everything. And therefore Christ is invisible, because what we have made visible. So what have we seen? Or maybe errors, maybe faults, maybe regrets, mistakes, punishments, condemnations, judgments, holding grudges and regrets. This is what we see instead of the truth, the peace, the love, and the forgiveness that helps us to see the real world. Yet it does not matter how much distance you have tried to interpose between your awareness and truth. God's Son can be seen because his vision is shared. The Holy Spirit looks upon him and sees nothing else in you. Imagine that. Like that is actually the truth. The Holy Spirit, the voice for God, looks upon Christ and he sees nothing else in you. No matter how you see yourself, no matter what your perception is, no matter how badly you might feel about yourself or how badly you might think you are, well, God only sees perfection in you. He sees his Holy Son in you. That's all he sees. Innocence, perfection, glory. The glory of the Lord is what he sees in you. His holy, holy Son. What is invisible to you is perfect in his sight and encompasses all of it. He has remembered you because he forgot not the Father. You looked upon the unreal and found despair. Yet by seeking the unreal, what else could you find? The unreal world is a thing of despair, for it can never be. And you who share God's being with him could never be content without reality. What God did not give you has no power over you, and the attraction of love for love remains irresistible. So in other words, the idols, the false idols that we have made, say, in the world that we cherish, and they may be grievances, all these blocks in our mind or whatever it is, whatever they are, if God didn't give them to you, they can have no power over you. And we still have an irresistible attraction of love for love, even though we're not seeing right perhaps at the moment. There will be correction. For it is the function of love to unite all things unto itself and to hold all things together by extending its wholeness. Love is whole. It extends, it shares. This is its function, to unite all things unto itself. All things. The good, the bad, and the ugly. All of them. And hold all things together by extending its wholeness. I just had a moment today. I took my son to the swimming pool. I just thought I'm going to look around and make eye contact with people. And there was a young girl, and she was a bit overweight, and I thought, oh, I wonder how she feels about herself. I wonder how people look at her. You know, I don't know if you've experienced it, but sometimes you can meet someone's eyes and they quickly look away, and it's almost like, what are they thinking? And it's like they're hiding their thoughts. And so I just purposely looked in her eyes and smiled, and she smiled at me, and she kept looking, I think, to see if I was going to keep eye contact, and I did, and I kept smiling at her, and I just wanted to extend love to her. I wanted her to feel affirmed, and I wanted her to feel like she was cared for, she was worthy, she was seen for who she really was. And for me, this is something I need to practice because I have some old programming based around judgments of how people look. I admit it. And so I need to really pray for my vision to be corrected, to not see just someone's body or hairdo or teeth or whatever it is, and to look into their eyes and just see the love of who they really are, and by smiling at them and seeing their true Christ self, that is an example of being able to extend the wholeness of love, which unites all things unto itself and holds all things together. It excludes no one. And when we feel uncomfortable, when we see someone who looks different, or perhaps it might be some people feel uncomfortable seeing someone that may be really disabled or have some sort of disability, and they feel uncomfortable and they're not sure how to acknowledge the person, or it makes them feel, I don't know, funny within themselves because they haven't learned, or so I say I maybe as well, we haven't yet learned how to fully embrace and love and include everyone. We are all God's son. We are all perfect. And yeah, it's really a very powerful lesson, this totality of love, this all-inclusive love. As well, includes criminals, murderers, you name it. God still looks upon them and sees his holy son. Big lessons to learn, but with the Holy Spirit's help, we can help heal the whole sonship, and starting with our own perceptions. The real world was given you by God in loving exchange for the world you made and the world you see. Only take it from the hand of Christ and look upon it. Its reality will make everything else invisible, and beholding it is total perception. So let's start swapping our old perceptions and judgments of the world and ask Christ, please give me your perception. I take it from your hand and I'll look upon it and its reality. So when we start seeing the world through the Holy Spirit's eyes, or through the way Christ sees the world, then we will behold its total perception. And as you look upon it, you will remember that it was always so. Nothingness will become invisible, for you will at last have seen truly. Redeemed perception is easily translated into knowledge, for only perception is capable of error, and perception has never been. Because our perceptions that are incomplete and tainted and full of judgments and condemnations and all of that, well, as far as God's concerned, those perceptions have never been. They've never existed. They're not real. Being corrected, we need our perceptions corrected. When we have them corrected, it gives place to knowledge, which is forever the only reality. The atonement is but the way back to what was never lost. Your Father could not cease to love his Son. Yes. We have always been loved, and we always forever will be loved by our Father. Isn't that music to your ears? Isn't that good to know? Has that made your day? Your Father forever loves you. And lesson 100. 100. Going into the 3 digits now. My part, your part, is essential to God's plan for salvation. Just as God's Son completes his Father, so your part in it completes your Father's plan. Salvation must reverse the mad belief in separate thoughts and separate bodies, which lead separate lives and go their separate ways. One function shared by separate minds unites them in one purpose, for each one of them is equally essential to them all. God's will for you is perfect happiness. Yay! I'm still getting my head around that one. Are you? Or is that quite easy for you to accept? It's beautiful. God's will for you is perfect happiness. Why should you choose to go against his will? The part that he has saved for you to take in working out his plan is given you that you might be restored to what he wills. This part is as essential to his plan as to your happiness. Your joy must be complete to let his plan be understood by those to whom he sends you. They will see their function in your shining face and hear God calling to them in your happy laugh. You are indeed essential to God's plan. Without your joy, his joy is incomplete. Without your smile, the world cannot be saved. While you are sad, the light that God himself appointed as the means to save the world is dim and lustreless, and no one laughs, because all laughter can but echo yours. You are indeed essential to God's plan. Just as your light increases every light that shines in heaven, so your joy on earth calls to all minds to let their sorrows go and take their place beside you in God's plan. God's messages are joyous, and their joy heals sorrow and despair. They are the proof that God wills perfect happiness for all who will accept their Father's gifts as theirs. We will not let ourselves be sad today, for if we do, we fail to take the part that is essential to God's plan as well as to our vision. Sadness is a sign that you would play another part instead of what has been assigned to you by God. Thus do you fail to show the world how great the happiness he wills for you, and so you do not recognize that it is yours. Today we will attempt to understand joy is our function here, If you are sad, your part is unfulfilled, and all the world is thus deprived of joy along with you. God asks you to be happy, so the world can see how much He loves His Son, and wills no sorrow rises to abate His joy. No fear besets Him to disturb His peace. You are God's messenger today. You bring His happiness to all you look upon, His peace to everyone who looks on you and sees His message in your happy face. We will prepare ourselves for this today in our 5-minute practice periods. 5-minute practice periods. But by feeling happiness arise in us according to our Father's will and ours. Begin the exercises with the thought today's idea contains. Then realize that your part is to be happy. Only this is asked of you or anyone who wants to take his place among God's messengers. Think what this means. You have indeed been wrong in your belief that sacrifice is asked. You but receive according to God's plan and never lose or sacrifice or die. Now let us try to find that joy that proves to us and all the world God's will for us. It is your function that you find it here and that you find it now. For this you came. Let this one be the day that you succeed. Look deep within you, undismayed by all the little thoughts and foolish goals you pass as you ascend to meet the Christ in you. He will be there, and you can reach Him now. What could you rather look upon in place of Him who waits that you may look on Him? What little thought has power to hold you back? What foolish goal can keep you from success when He who calls you to you is God Himself? He will be there. You are essential to His plan. You are His messenger today, and you must find what He would have you give. Do not forget the idea for today between your hourly practice periods. It is yourself who calls to you today, and it is Him you answer every time you tell yourself you are essential to God's plan for the salvation of the world. So every hour, 5 minutes reflecting on the idea for today. Your part, my part, is essential to God's plan for salvation, and try and remember the idea between those 55-minute waiting periods as well. My part is essential to God's plan for salvation, and His plan for me is to be happy, is to find joy, is to look within and find the Christ within me. He will be there. He is there. He is waiting. Seek Him. You will find Him. He wants you happy. He wants you joyful. He wants you happy and joyful now. Today is the day. Be happy. Have a happy day.